Not only that, though, think about the kids that you make a difference and
Right.
an impact in their families. That's why Mom and I do these podcasts every single week. That's what we're doing. One, we want to make sure that you guys have this memorialized for when you're older and when you have kids. But on top of that, we have just seen the fruit of implementing all these things that we've learned over the years. We see it through you guys. And we want those that are hungry out there that want to learn to have something to learn from that will help them.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jackie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world. Okay, guys, we're on a roll. We got the twins plus Lou.
Thank you for not forgetting me.
Also known as the triplets. And, we were just kind of talking through the family constitution part here. The whole last episode had a lot to do with just honor. You guys did a great job of giving a lot of examples and explaining what we have here. And, it is important. I love how you started talking about this briefly, Abs, in the last one, about completing our chores responsibly and timely with excellence. Our house would be chaotic if everybody didn't play their part, right? Mm-hmm. We get comments all the time. Oh my gosh, we have 2 kids. We don't even know how to keep up with that. How do you manage 6? It's got to be crazy. And it's not an easy thing to answer. I just try to give encouragement. But the reality is, if we didn't have all of these different systems and bullet points and values built into our family all along the way, I don't know how we would manage it. But because we do, we could have 4 kids, 6 kids, probably 10 kids, to be honest with you. Don't tell Mom I said that. But
I will.
I don't want her to think I'm encouraging that.
Yeah, she'll give you guff about that one.
No kidding. And so, honoring family by having good manners, exercising responsibility towards others. We manage ourselves powerfully in all situations. What does that mean to manage yourself powerfully in all situations?
Well, how I like to think of it is choosing to be the bigger person. For instance, we're talking with our friends and the conversation starts going where it's not where it shouldn't be going. And instead of just being like, oh, I don't want to stand up to this. We choose to be the bigger person and switch the subject. Be like, hey guys, let's go over here and play this game, for instance. Like just switching the subject, being the bigger person in that sense. Or there's just multiple instances where you can just choose to be a bigger person and manage yourself powerfully. And one thing in the Bible that it talks about is greater is he that's living in me than he who is in the world. So you know that you get your power from God. So you already know that with God, you are powerful. So you need to make sure that you equip that power and you use it to benefit the right scenario, to benefit what needs to be done so good can come out of the situation. Because some people might not even realize they're doing it and not have been taught it. So you need to make sure that you're the bigger person, like Crissy was talking about, and you stand up for what God has taught you and has given you the power and the ability to do. Like, let's just say the topic is talking about cheating or whatever. Like, let's just say we're talking to some friends and they're saying like, oh, I cheated at this, and sometimes I like to sneak this. And it's like, no, we're not going to talk about it. Okay, so how is your summer going? Just change the topic completely. So then also, like, if Hunter, our little sister, is around in that atmosphere, we don't want that seed to be planted into her head that it's okay for our family to do that. We want to make sure that we stick up for it. And now we're talking about, oh, how's your summer? Then it like totally changes the direction. Because if we let that go on and we don't say anything, then silence is acceptance, and we're accepting that scenario that it's okay if they talk about whatever they're talking about that's negative. So we need to make sure that we are sticking up for what the power that God has given us to stick up for the right thing.
It's so good. And this has been a journey. So for all the parents out there listening, this isn't like we taught this one time to our kids and they just got this. This has been countless amounts of specific examples through experience, right? where, let's say that when you're first going to Montessori school when you're really little, and there would be different scenarios, and some kid would say, well, I only like one kid, but I don't like the other, and it would hurt your guys' feelings. Now, thankfully, we've all been so big on communication that when something's bothering you, guys are willing to talk to us about it because we're just here to help. Then we talk through the scenario, and we don't just talk through that, okay, well, they shouldn't have done that and leave it at that. It's like, no, here's how you can handle that, if this happens again. So every time a situation happened that even you didn't know how to handle and maybe you froze a little bit, well, because we talked it through, now you kind of had a new experience of knowing what to do next time, and that builds confidence. Now you can actually be more confident in any scenario. Like right now, we live in a cul-de-sac here, and all the neighbor kids, are they good kids? I think they're pretty good kids, but are they like as on track as what we like to hold as a standard as far as what we talk about, what we don't talk about, what we focus on, etc.? Probably not. And so, you guys have had some scenarios out there where you have to change the subject. But I do have a question. So, like, sometimes, have you guys ever tried to change the subject when, say, there's a group of kids, you're all sitting, you girls all like to just sit and talk, It's not a problem when Drew has a boy over because the boys don't even talk, right? I don't even think they know each other's names. They just go and play sports.
Yeah, they just talk sports. That's their
all
topic.
they talk about. Nothing else but that. So I don't have to really worry about that.
Exactly. I'm like, Drew, what did you talk about with your friend? He's like, I asked him what the score was. I'm like,
But
what?
like, you guys were together for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Like literally, like we were playing tennis a couple of weeks ago with a couple of friends, and literally, even while we were playing and hitting the balls, we were nonstop talking to this one girl. She was my partner, and we were talking while we were hitting, while we were in line. Like we were talking the whole entire time. It was great.
Right. And I was playing with Drew once when he was playing with one of his friends, and literally he's just shouting, "Miss!" Because they were playing basketball. He's like, "You're gonna miss it." Haha, I made it. Stuff like that. And like, this is all sports talk. This is what you guys talk about. Wow.
And you girls are on the sideline saying, "Oh, what's that boy's name? Oh, his name's this. Oh, who's his brother? Who's his sister?
Right.
Where do they live?"
Right. I know his sister from
last year.
church. Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
I remember last year he told me about this, and I heard him say this, and I'm just like, wow.
We break down situations, Dad.
You can sit 100 yards away and know more about the person Drews is hanging out with than he does.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, seriously, because we just break down situations. It's like intellectual conversation, Dad.
I have a question for you girls too. Now that we're on this topic, so how do you girls all somehow talk at the same time?
And everybody.
Hear everybody
It's
at the
great.
same
It's a
time.
superpower. I know. It's like there's like a conversation over here and over here and over here, and then like you're talking, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that. Oh yeah, that. I remember that. Oh yeah. Back to this conversation." You know?
And then it's funny that something we don't want to do. It's like, oh wait, what'd you say again? It's so funny how we can listen to 3 conversations at once, and then there was something we kind of knew we don't want to do. What'd you say, Mom, again?
We
know.
we had some friends over recently, and it was going on. It was Mom and some of the ladies, and you know how Mom, she can get pretty wound up.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, all the girls are talking. Then they're all trying to talk louder than each other. So now it's just like, and I just come in. I don't know who was with me. One of the guys that was with me, I don't know, it was Dr. James or somebody like that. And we walked in the house, and we're like, let's go see what the ladies are doing. And we literally walk in through the garage, and we walk in, all here. It's like, oh, and we're like, right turn, turn right. We went right by and just went down the stairs and out in the backyard and like,
I know. That's the thing though. Like when I listen to Mom talk, I don't realize that it's like you all of a sudden hear her talking, and then she's yelling, and then she's laughing, and then she gets quiet, and then she's talking, and then she's yelling. Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
What were we talking about?
I don't remember.
We were talking about how
How do you manage yourself?
Yeah, how do you manage
powerfully?
yourself?
Yes. So, what do you do in the scenarios where you're trying to change the topic, but they keep going into something negative, right? They just keep maybe complaining about something or just being negative overall, and and you're trying to change the subject, but it doesn't change. What would you guys do?
Well, it's kind of hard, but I think that the best option to do there is just be like, guys, I don't want to talk about this. Let's either go play a game or let's just talk about something else. Just say it really bluntly to them so they actually get the message.
Mm-hmm. Or I could see this scenario happening. The 3 of you will be playing tennis together, high school this upcoming season here, pretty soon actually. And I could see that scenario happening. You know, sometimes you're at tournaments and you have waits in between games and you're all sitting together. And I think most of the girls you're playing with are pretty good girls, and you guys have kind of figured out who to spend time with and who not to.
Yeah.
You know, the great thing, I'm telling you, this is so awesome how this just works out. The more that you guys don't participate in like murmuring and gossiping. By the way, you know what the word says about it? It says murmuring and gossiping is an abomination to the Lord. Mm-hmm. So the more that you guys aren't participating in negative talk or whatever, and you're changing the subject and you're deflecting it, whatever, the reality is the people who only want to do that, they'll stop hanging out with you, right? Yeah. Because you kind of challenge them. So now they find somebody else that they can murmur and gossip with. You ever heard the saying, birds of a feather flock together? Yeah. So that's what it means. So if you're comfortable being negative Nilly, you're probably going to find another negative person that will, if you're only want to be positive, then eventually the positive people are going to find each other, right? But I will tell you, like, if you guys are together and a scenario like that happens where it just keeps being negative or something, all you got to do is, after you try to change the subject a couple times, you don't have to hang with them. Like, that's really important to know. Like, you're not obligated to hang with them. You know what I mean? But what you can do is just say, hey, girls, you want to go hit some tennis balls? Hey, you want to go for a walk? And you just kindly remove yourself from the situation. You don't have to sit there and, tell them. See, because unasked for advice is criticism. Right. So some of these kids may not want advice. If they ever did want advice, give it to them. You guys just seem like you're always so happy. You guys seem like you get along so well. How do you guys do that? You should coach them on some of the stuff that we do. They're asking for it then, right? But if they're not asking for it, then you just keep being you. That's what God says. Be a light in the dark. You know what I mean? Ever stand in a dark room before? It can be the smallest bit of light, and it makes the whole room look bright, doesn't it? Mm-hmm, right?
Like so we went to the cave, and it was like when we visited that cave, and he literally turned off the lights, and he was like, "This is like you pitch can't black. Even see. Like this is not something you used to. This is literally no light."
Yeah. The slightest bit of light. That's huge. And so that's how you do that. But anyways, yes, honey.
Thank you. And so, talking about friends is most times we had to learn this through friends that we hanged out with, that we were not the head, but we were the tail and we were just following others. And when we learned these concepts, we became the leader and the whole atmosphere changed. But sometimes you got to take this into perspective. You can't always be like the one because unwanted advice is criticism. You can't always be the one like, okay, we're only talking about this, this, and this. Right. We're not talking about anything like that. You got to take this into perspective because everybody is a human being and everybody makes mistakes and sometimes they don't even realize it. So with some friends that we barely hang out with, we try our best, but it's like they're not changing. But this is only going to be like a once in a while that you actually hang out with these people. So just try to have the best time you can. But at the end of the day, just talk everything over. Like, we're not going to be hanging out with them as much. And we also have to take that into perspective. Like when we had friends in Florida, we realized that it was not going always the best when we hanged out with them like every single day or every other day. Yeah. And we had to realize, okay, we gotta separate ourselves a little bit because their family like goals were different than what we had in our family. So we had to make sure we had boundaries set in place. Like with certain friends, we have some boundaries, like we're only going to hang out with them because they don't want to change. And that's up to them. It's not to us. We're always going to be the same. But if they don't want to change, then we can't go down to their level and change to their level.
Yeah, and we had some differing opinions on how we do things, right?
Yeah.
But one thing though, like in our family, when we do teach honor, that it's okay to be different. It's okay to other people have different ideas, but we kind of stick to who we are and we have our philosophy. They kind of had a different philosophy. Their philosophy is more like, okay, we are who we are. We're strong-willed too, but we're going to try to get everybody else to be like us. And they didn't have enough discernment to realize like, no, we're not really interested in your philosophy. Okay. Doesn't mean we don't want to be friends with you, but we don't want you trying to influence us. We're not asking for it. You're criticizing us through the unasked for advice kind of a thing, right? And so then the only thing we could do is start distancing ourselves, which was fine, because that could happen. That had to happen as well. But let's talk about this real quick. We've been talking about, this is one of our family constitution principles. We never gossip, murmur, or complain. We only speak words that give life to our futures and the futures of others. Like, we do this for us ourselves, but we also only speak words that give life to the futures of others. I just want to make that point that this is one of our constitutional, you guys are talking about it, but we're following this, right? Which is really big. And then the last one I'll mention of this is that we live life to the fullest. We take positive, calculated, kingdom-guided chances with people and things, and we don't play small. Like, how do you guys interpret that one?
Well, not playing small can be in some situations being the bigger person, or in other situations, not playing small is not playing yourself down. We always expect the most out of ourselves, always trying our best, doing our best in everything we do. And not playing small is just being willing to push ourselves to our highest capability, and then that's playing to our fullest.
Yeah, like in schoolwork.
Yeah.
You could just be average at schoolwork, or you could be good at it, right? And you guys try hard to do well.
Yeah.
Right? How about in sports? You could just show up in cross country last year, Chris, and just kind of like do it for social time. And that would have been fine. But what did you do?
Well, my main priority was doing my very best, and then I kind of balanced having a little bit of social time with it.
Yeah.
But my main priority was, maybe I didn't expect to be on the running team this season. Maybe we only learned about it 2 days before it started. Maybe I'm the 8th grader that nobody even knows. Who cares? Who cares? I'm going to do my best and then see where that takes me.
Yeah. And that got you a bunch of top 5, top 10 finishes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Same thing in tennis. It's like, we can go out there and it could just be social time, which is great, by the way. I'm glad you guys have that. At the same time, like, why not go out there and try to win? Why not see how good you can become?
Right.
Why don't we practice and get our serves good and do, because it's more fun when you play to your fullest potential, whether it's super kids, right? Okay. So, yep. You could kind of dabble with this, and it's a good theory, but why not set a goal of getting to 1,000 subscriptions?
Right.
Right? Why not? That'd be pretty nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
By the way, get yourself a $10,000 a month income.
Yeah, that'd be pretty nice.
Not only that, though, think about the kids that you make a difference,
Right.
Impact in their families. That's why Mom and I do these podcasts every single week. That's what we're doing. One, we want to make sure that you guys have this memorialized for when you're older, when you have kids. But on top of that, we have just seen the fruit of implementing all these things that we've learned over the years. We see it through you guys, and we want those that are hungry out there that want to learn to have something to learn from that will help them. Right.
Right. Like, my number one goal in Super Kids is, first, help the kids and push them to grow to their highest potential. And second, I want to be able to contribute to our church. And third is, being able to have the freedom financially to do what I want to do.
Love it. Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.